Welcome to Suburra Blood on Rome Season 2 recap. 3 months later, at the end of first season, Livia returns to Rome, having fled after killing Isabel. Arriving at a hotel, she decides to call Romolo to hand over the land of Ostia to Samurai because with her signature, Aureliano will no longer be able to sell in the area. Meanwhile, Spadino tries to take command of his family and subdue his mother now that his brother is in a coma. He becomes convinced that with Livia, he can have the monopoly on the port of Ostia. However, his mother hinders his ambitions, going to the samurai to ask for an agreement which involves a threat for Livia. Meanwhile, Lily, after the death of his father, becomes a police inspector, but Samurai continues to threaten and forces him to search for Livia. Meanwhile, Rome is also coming to terms with the arrival of illegal immigrants who threaten the ideology of the country. A few hours after the result of the vote in Rome, Sinaglia wins by a larger margin than expected. Romolo tells Aureliano not to kill Livia. After Livia has returned home to her brother, she apologizes to him for what she did. On the land of Ostia, a temporary tent city is organized to welcome migrants, something that Samurai does not like. Just as Lily is about to arrive at Aureliano's house, Samurai arrives from the back with Boiardo, breaking in and forces Livia to sign the documents transferring the Ostia lands to him. As Samurai is about to leave, Aureliano threatens him, prompting Samurai to kill Livia, who dies in her brother's arms. Aureliano decides to bury Livia at sea. When he returned home, he discovered that his men had abandoned him, including Romolo bringing their guns and drugs with them. Sinaglia goes to Ostia in the refugee camp and finds Sara there. Meanwhile, Aureliano asks for help from Nadia to recover his weapons from the girl's cousins. Aureliano looks for the weapons, about to be wounded, and Nadia saves him at the last minute. Samurai and his clan go to the refugee camp and set it on fire, causing chaos. Sara is saved by Lily at the camp while Samurai escapes. The Sicilian boss then decides to listen to Sinaglia and meet Samurai. If the right and Sinaglia win, then they will be in charge together with the new politicians. If the left wins, Samurai will need a new ally. Meanwhile, Aureliano, Lily, and Spadino try to understand who Sinaglia is and who Samurai is collaborating with. In the end, the three decide to ask Sinaglia to team up with them. They will ally themselves and he will be able to get rid of Samurai because they will be the ones to command Ostia. Sinaglia decides to accept the proposal. Spadino regains his mother's trust thanks to Angelica's pregnancy. Now he can go home and command. Aureliano and Spadino hijack a bus that brings immigrants into the camp of Ostia in order to bring chaos, forcing the driver to lie saying he was attacked by migrants. Meanwhile, the cardinal, after being humiliated by Samurai, decides to ally himself with Sara, but is killed by Samurai who pushes him down a staircase. Sinaglia sees the right-wing politician with whom he wants to form an alliance and tells him that the brothel of Ostia has organized him to increase the advantage in the polls. Aureliano kills Nadia's cousins, who do not want to get back in business with him, burning them alive. Sinaglia reaches Adriano on the radio and asks him not to talk about what he has discovered. In exchange, he tells him who his new allies are, and Adriano agrees. Meanwhile, in Ostia, everything is ready for the meeting of Aureliano, bringing the corpses of Nadia's cousins to show who is in charge. Sinaglia publicly declares his voting intentions and asks his voters to vote for the right. Samurai then discovers that Spadino, Lily, and Aureliano have once again become allies. Samurai then goes to Sinaglia's ex-wife to tell him what he has been up to. Sara tells Sinaglia that she wants an immigration commission so that with her not-for-profit organization, she can take care of the management of the refugees. Before the gang war begins in Ostia, Mara goes to Lily and threatens him with a gun, telling him that she has discovered the truth. Spadino, who is in the same place, hears everything but hits Mara in the back to help Lily. Mara continues to talk about Lily's father and that he had said that he did not want to have a son like him, triggering anger in Lily, who drowns her in the sea. Aureliano understands that the Anacletes are going to Romolo and tries to save him, but does not succeed. However, Nadia and Aureliano manage to escape before the intervention of the police. Samurai's right-hand man goes to Lily and picks him up, bringing him to Samurai where he beats him. Meanwhile, Spadino has decided to tell Aureliano what he knew from Mara, but Aureliano decides not to kill Lily because he also killed his father. Adriano also arrives to where Lily is being held. Meanwhile, Sarah proposes to kill the Countess so that she can take her place. Christiana is unable to get in touch with Lily and decides to go to his house. Finding his door had been broken down and clothes dirty with sand, realizing that he killed Mara. When Emidio arrives, Samurai threatens him, but he grabs the gun and shoots Adriano, injuring him and bringing Lily to safety. Meanwhile, during Mass, the Countess is killed by Aureliano shortly before she arrives at the event. Spadino and Aureliano have made a pact to divide the Piazza of Ostia. Aureliano warns Sinaglia and Sarah of the fact that Alice, Sinaglia's wife, saw him kill the Countess. Lele, at Christina's house, decides to confess everything by talking about the business with Samurai. Christiana tells him that she wants only one thing, to get to work for Samurai, tired of her honest life. Angelica and Nadia begin to work together, and in Ostia the shop starts again. Spadino's lover is kidnapped by Spadino's suspicious cousin. Sinaglia convinces his wife to announce that she has witnessed the Countess being killed by a migrant, thus favoring the right, but the news will not be released until the next day because it was intercepted by a policeman who works for Samurai. Therefore, Samurai again threatens Sinaglia and Sarah, who are then forced to come in terms with him. Lily parks in an isolated place, manages to disarm Christiana, stunning and leaving her. Meanwhile, Samurai goes to Adriano to ask him to spread the news of the Countess' murder on the radio. Lily, Aureliano and Spadino meet where Lily confesses what he did for Samurai, and tired of the criminal life that he feels does not belong to him, shoots himself in the head. Soon after, Christiana arrives and finds Lily dead and takes the gun. Meanwhile, the election results arrive and the right wins with 54% of the votes. Spadino receives a message from his cousin and goes to the house where his lover is locked up. Waiting for him is Alex, who tells him he will tell everyone about their relationship unless he gives up his command. In order to avoid losing the command, Spadino kills his lover and leaves. Aureliano and Spadino go to recover Lily's body and burn it. Adriano looks for Aureliano and Spadino and tells him that Sinaglia has once again allied with Samurai and proposes an alliance to them. In the end of season 2, Manfredi awakes from his coma in hospital. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel and also follow us on Instagram.